Hey, coin folk, welcome back. Got a little extra this week. Picked up our couple normal boxes and stopped in a random bank that I hadn't stopped in a while, and I had a total of $340 worth of customer wrap. Just talking to him a little bit as I picked it up. I'm not saying they're going to be real promising, but you never know if you don't grab them. So we have those. Push them off to the side for a minute. It sounded like maybe at least the majority of them came from somebody who's, I would guess, probably hunting rolls, but who knows? We'll see. But we do have our couple boxes as well, though, so pretty typical box. Lots of circulating. Fake toned up 83 looking like. Come on, Anders, where you at? And nothing really jumping out there either. Got an ugly looking, looks like it's a bicentennial there, but whoa. I think I'll probably start with some of these guys. And if it gets interesting, I'll definitely bring you back in for them, but we'll start with the customer wrapped and then figure out a box to move into. And that's it. That's the plan, or at least as much of a plan as I got anyway. So let's get it going. Well, we finished up the $340 in customer wrap halves, and this was our giant haul. One NIFC. 2013 Denver. Not exactly what you're hoping for out of customer wraps, but gotta open them to find out, I guess. So let's go over there and get into our boxes. I'll be back. At a roll 5 of box number 1 here, we have at least the remnants of a plated coin. It's still got some of the plating or painting, whatever was on it, a little gold color to it, but it's by far not still fully there, but it's a little bit of a find, so we took a look. Now we're gonna jump back in and hope for something better. Let's go. Roll 8 of box 1, and we apparently had a sticker coin at some point. I don't know where it came from exactly, but we got ourselves a little hard. Unfortunately, it's not silver. It's just silver in color. It would have been cool if it was silver. We would have took that, but I guess it's not really even a sticker. I don't know how the heck it got in there. At least it doesn't feel like it's a sticker. It doesn't want to focus at all. I guess I'm probably too close, but that's an interesting roll find. So I guess we'll take it. Let's hope the box continues to show love. Let's go. On roll 9 of box 1 here, we got a 95 Philly with a little grease strike through here on the front. Kind of see it best down in bottom of the date. Gets pretty strong kind of right in this area, and then kind of starts to come back to life a little bit up the edge, and then a little light over on the TY area of Liberty as well. But a little bit of a find. I'm just glad it doesn't have a giant ring of death on it. It's perfectly good on the back. Last couple of these Aver strike throughs that I found like this have all had that giant wrap machine damage on them. So we'll definitely take it one in a little nicer condition, and we'll keep on moving. I'll be back. On roll 34 of box 1 here already. We got a 2024 Denver under the scope. I don't find this very often on $half. It's not super strong, but you can see kind of in between the rays here. It's got like feeder finger scrapes in there. It's kind of cool looking. Usually find them, seems like I find this more on quarters than anything, but I think as far as I could remember, this is the first time I found one like that on $half. Like I said, it's not super strong, and the contrast isn't showing up great on video, it doesn't look like, but it's there, trust me. I don't know. But a little bit of something to look at least. Not the most exciting thing. Still waiting for something good, but a little bit of something. So let's keep rolling. Well, the very next roll here, we got the most worn pocket piece I've ever pulled out of a roll. Unfortunately, it's got our old friend on it, the Ring of Death there. But I can't even make out the last date or the last digit in the date is 19. Kind of see the top of the 7 a little bit. I don't know. Even under the scope, I can't really see nothing. The back has a little more detail on it than the front does, but still pretty darn slick. I don't know. Let's throw it under the scope here. You tell me if you can tell what that is. I'm not even sure that it's a 7, but it looks like it. I don't know. I wish it didn't have that damage on it, but it does. So. Still kind of cool find though. I don't know why I like finding these, but I've been finding quite a few of them here recently. So we'll take it, and we're going to keep on going. On roll 40 here of box 1. Got a 2023 Philly, VDDO number 1. You can see it's some there in the mint mark a little bit. Over here on the I and the N. And there's a couple that are somewhat similar. Where I always look to kind of pinpoint this one is this little tiny bit of doubling right at the bottom on the back side of the B there. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but that's what I always look for to make sure I'm seeing the right one. Because there's a couple other, I think they're all unlisted, that kind of confuse me a little bit, but been a minute since we found one of these ones. We'll take another one. I'm pretty sure I'm still sitting on well over 100 of them after I had that big stash that one time in the box, but we'll slowly sell them off. So if you need one, let me know. But we're going to jump back in and keep going on this box, see what else we can get. So we wrapped up the first box here. We had a couple more 23 Phillies with a VDDO number 1 on them. And these I kept out of just the last, I don't know, maybe, 8 to 10 rolls. See all bright, shiny, brand new edges. This was all throughout the box. Somebody must have dumped, like, I don't know how many original rolls of 73 Phillies. This one here is probably the nicest of the bunch. I mean, obviously most of them are really, really nice, but this one I might actually consider grading if it wasn't for that little mark kind of right in the middle of his head. I don't know how well it's going to show up. There's a little mark out in the field too, kind of right in front of his chin. Some other little ticky stuff, but there's just a little mark, kind of, I don't know, I guess I just set it down, point to where I'm trying to show you. There it kind of shows up. You see that kind of dark spot kind of up above his ear to the left a little bit. If it wasn't for that little hit, it might be worth sending in, but I don't think I'm going to mess with it at this point. But like I said, there was, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 rolls in this box of all 73s. I wish they were 73 Demers, and maybe we'll pull a nice double die out of it, but just 73 Phillies, so. But just kind of interesting. But we're going to keep on moving. Been through the customer wrap with no luck. Been through the box number 1 with no luck. Hopefully box number 2 comes through for us. Let's go find out. On roll 4 here, second box, we got a 24 Philly under the scope here. The DDR number 2. A little doubling up under there, under the ribbon, and all on these stars behind the eagle's head here. This is one we got attributed a while back. This is the first one I found since we pulled, I don't know, I think it was about a half dozen or so when we originally came across them. So it's kind of nice to find another. Hopefully we can come across a few in here. Get a little stockpile. I thought maybe them half dozen or so was always going to come across, but got at least one more. And there does appear to be a few newer enders in this box, so we'll see. Let's go. Back on roll 8 of box 2 here, and we have the other 2024 DDR number 1 here. You see the doubling on the inside of the wing. and then some on the snake in the mouth there. So we got most of the modern attributed varieties out of these two boxes. I think we're missing. What are we missing? One of the 23 DDR, I think. Yeah, because we got a 23 DDO and both the 24 DDRs. So now we need to track down that 23 DDR. Not that we need any more of them, but if we can find one, it'll check the last one of the modern ones off the list. So, but let's jump back in, see what we get. Roll 19, the box 2. We got our first NIFC out of the box, 2009 Philly? Yeah, Philly. Just figured I'd bring you in to share the first one. Won't bring you in for the rest. We'll do a little recap on them at the end. But I haven't been finding nearly as many as I have in the past, NIFCs. So maybe it's because I keep pulling them out. I don't know. But anyways, figured I'd share the first one and jump back in. Alright, the last roll of the top half of the box here. We got another one of these little grease strike throughs. Got a little counter wheel, rolling machine damage on it. Just a touch, but keep finding quite a few of these. This one isn't as dramatic as some of the ones we found, but you can see it pretty good around kind of the lower portion of the coin. So around the edges anyways. But we'll take it. Can jump back in and get into the second half. I'll be back. Roll 35, box 2 here. Got another one of these plated coins. This one's the plating job was much better, but it has been pretty heavily circulated afterwards. You can see it's kind of worn off all the rim and some of the higher spots, but at least the plating job itself was better accomplished. But we're winding down here. We got a few more chances for some silver, but it looks like the skunk streak might extend another week, but let's go find out. Well, we got to the end of box 2 here, doing a little wrap up. I can't remember what all I showed you and what all I haven't. I kind of got confused halfway through here, but we did end up with 4 NIFCs, and I didn't realize as we were going through, but the 2009 Philly is actually the satin finish one, so that's kind of an extra little bonus find. We had our heart. We had our pocket piece that's unfortunately damaged. We had our couple plated quarters, neither in great shape. A couple off-air strike throughs, an 88 and a 95. This is 24, I think it's Denver. Yeah, Denver with a feeder finger scrapes kind of all in behind the Rays, behind the Eagles head there. We ended up with, let's see, well, I have 5 23 VDDO number 1s. I had more and I screwed up. Like I said, I got all screwed up towards the end of the hunt. I ended up backfilling some. I had a stack of them set aside and I put some back in rolls thinking I was using another stack, but whatever. I don't know how many we had. We're keeping 5. We had 24s. We had the DDR number 1. We just had one of those. And then we had 3 of the DDR number 2s. As you can see, this one unfortunately has a little ring of death on it, so we won't hang on to that one. But at least we did pick up a couple more of them that are worth keeping. So despite no silver, at least we had a good little smattering of finds. So we'll move on to the next one, and we'll see what happens. So I'll see you whenever that is, folks. Later.